Hello everybody, how are you doing? Okay, I hope you're doing great. I'm doing great. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about, okay, so we're talking about, am I your brother? Okay, what do I mean by this? Okay, so I'm talking to you about marriage. Okay, sometimes when we are in a marriage, sometimes our spouse might get so comfortable with us. Maybe perhaps he might forget that he's our spouse and think that he's our brother. Okay? Have you ever had a relationship that's like that, where you got so comfortable with your spouse, you stopped dressing up for him, whatever the case may be? Okay? This video it sounds like that's what it's about, but it's actually not. Okay? So I'm in Genesis 12, so I kind of got your ears listening, and now I'm going to tell you what the video is really about. Okay? So I know you heard this story before. I'm talking about Abram, okay? So in Genesis 12 it says, now the Adonai said to Abram, he said, get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation, I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I'll bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who curse you, okay? And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed, okay? Okay, so Abraham departed as the Creator spoke with him, okay? In verse 5 it says, Abram took Sarai his wife and Lot his brother and all of their possessions that they had gathered and the people whom they had acquired in Haran, okay? And they departed to go to the land of Canaan, okay? So I'm going to skip down a couple of verses, okay? So this is about Abram and his wife, okay? Okay, so in verse 13, so I'm in chapter 12, verse 13, it says, hold on. In chapter 12, verse 11, and it came to pass when he was close to entering Egypt, okay? So they're traveling. And that he said to Sarah, his wife, indeed I know that you are a woman of beautiful countenance. He said, therefore it will happen when the Egyptians see you, that they will say, this is his wife. And they will kill me, but they will let you live, okay? So this is Abram being anxious. He doesn't know what's going to happen. He's trying to foresee the future. And so he says to his wife, he said, please say you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, that I may live because of you, okay? So I was talking about a lot of firsts, like I did a couple of live streams earlier. And so this might have been one of the first half-truths. So we heard maybe a deception from the serpent to Eve, but this might be like the first half-truth, okay? We'll see later on why this is a half-truth. But anyway, so it was when Abram came into Egypt that the Egyptians saw the woman, that she was very beautiful. The princes of Pharaoh also saw her and commended her to Pharaoh, okay? And the woman was taken to Pharaoh's house. Now, she is technically Abram's wife, okay? But he said, please say you are my sister, because he's scared for his life that he will get killed so that Pharaoh could take his wife, okay? So in verse 16 it says, he treated Abram well for her sake. He had sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male and female servants, female donkeys, and camels. But the Adonai plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife, okay? So in verse 18, Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is it that you have done to me? Why didn't you tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say she's my sister? What would have happened had I taken her as my wife and then I would have gotten in trouble? That's what Pharaoh's complaining about, okay? Now Pharaoh's saying, here is your wife, take her and go your way, okay? So now he sent away Abram from his presence, okay? So then Abram keeps traveling. So then we get to, we're at Genesis 20. Let's go to Genesis 20, okay? So now we're talking about the same Abram. Now his name has been changed to Abraham, okay? So in chapter 20 of Genesis, Abraham journeyed from there to the south and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur and stayed in Gerar, okay? So now we see a little bit of a hint of how Abram is thinking. Now Abram is blessed by the Creator, but these are just personal issues that maybe we all deal with, like inconsistencies with ourselves or different weak spots that we have to deal with, okay? So let's just look at this story a little bit closer. Okay, in Genesis 22, Abram said of Sarah his wife. So now Abram's name is Abraham and Sarah's name is Sarah, okay? So Abraham said of Sarah his wife, he said, she is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah, okay? So he's running into kings as he's traveling because his wife is a beautiful woman. He's trying to protect his well-being. And so he keeps saying, she's my sister before these kings. So in verse 3 of chapter 20 of Genesis, it says, But Adonai Elohim came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, indeed, you are a dead man. Wow, those are strong words. Because of the woman whom you have taken, for she is a man's wife. Okay? So when I'm reading this now, it's not the first time I heard this story, but I'm kind of like, okay, I thought he only took her, in a literal sense, but did he actually be in an intimate relationship, or was he in an intimate relationship with her? Because it almost sounds like here in this chapter that he was with Sarah, okay? And I don't remember which chapter I was in before. I was in chapter 12 of Genesis, and Pharaoh didn't actually sleep with Sarai, okay? But here it sounds like this he's the king of Gerar, I think. Hold on one second. Yeah, he's the king of Gerar. His name is Abimelech, okay? And it sounds like he took her, like he physically brought her into his presence, but it sounded like he was with her, okay? So, but Abimelech had not come near her. So they're kind of tricking us. They're making us think, ooh, you're in trouble. You're with this man's wife, okay? But Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, Adonai, will you slay a righteous nation also? Did he not say to me, she is my sister? And she, even herself, said, he is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and the innocence of my hands, I have done this. So Abimelech is trying to defend himself before the Creator, because the Creator said, look, you're a dead man. Look what you're doing, right? But then Abimelech was like, no, she said this. He said that. I think I'm in the clear. Please vindicate me, because I don't think I was trying to get in the middle of this. So in verse 6, then Adonai said to him in a dream, he said, yea, I know that you did this in the integrity of your heart, for I also withheld you from sinning against me. Here the truth comes out. So he really didn't get intimate with her, but it just sounds like he did. So he said, therefore I did not let you touch her. Now therefore restore the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you shall live. But if you do not restore her, know that you shall surely die, and all who are yours. Okay? Strong message from the Creator. So Abimelech rose early in the morning, called all his servants, and told all these things in their hearing. And the men were very much afraid. And Abimelech called to Abraham. Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of why is all this going on 2 times, okay? Then Abimelech called Abraham and said to him, what have you done to us, and how have I offended you that you have brought on me and my kingdom a great sin? You have done deeds to me that ought not to be done. Then Abimelech said to Abraham, what did you have in view that you have done this thing? So he asked 2 times. And Abraham said, because I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will kill me on account of my wife. Okay? So that's him assuming something, but he didn't really know what was going on. So maybe before he went into the kingdom, he should have prayed first for protection for his wife, for himself, that it will be well with them. So it says, but indeed, she is truly my sister. So this is how we get into the half-truth. Because he's not saying she's my wife. He's trying to protect himself, saying she's my sister. Technically, he's not lying, but it's kind of like half of a lie, half of the truth, okay? So it depends on how you see it. He says, she is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. Now let's get a little bit more detail. Verse 13, and it came to pass when Adonai caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said to her, this is your kindness that you should do for me. In every place wherever we go, say of me, he is my brother. So this is something that they had come up with a long time ago when they had met. Like they had this plan, let's just act like we're siblings, okay? Before other people. In verse 14 it says, then Abimelech took sheep, oxen, and male and female servants and gave them to Abraham. And he restored Sarah his wife to him. And Abimelech said, see, my hand is before you. Dwell where it pleases you. So Abimelech is a little bit scared of, mistreating Abraham so he won't get in trouble with the Creator. Okay, so he said, dwell wherever you feel like it. And then to Sarah, look, it's a little bit funny statement here in verse 16. Then to Sarah he said, behold, I have given your brother, okay? My title is, am I your brother? Okay, this is about wives and husbands. Is it your spouse or is it your brother? Okay, he said, behold, I have given your brother. He didn't even say it was her spouse. You said it's your brother. He said you're his sister, so that's your brother. That's what the king said, okay? That's what the king thought. He said, I have given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Indeed, this vindicates you before all who are with you and before everybody. So he's saying, I might have wronged you, but now I'm going to, I guess, clear this all up so it's not a problem. But look at the last statement. It says, thus she was rebuked. Okay? So I almost wondered, did the king not touch her because she made smarty pants statements to him? And he said, I don't want to deal with this person. Maybe rightfully so. If she belonged to somebody else, if he came near to her, she probably would have said, no, I don't think so, right? So maybe rightfully so, she might have been a smarty pants with him in that case because she wasn't free to go to someone else. So anyway, so in verse 17, so Abraham prayed to Aravad, and Aravad healed Abimelech, his wife, and his female servants, and they bore children. So I was like, well, I didn't even know there was something going on. So if you look at verse 18, it says, for the Adonai had closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. Okay? So that's one part of the story. The good news for Sarah and for Abraham, in verse 21:1, it says, and the Adonai visited Sarah as he has said, and the Adonai did for Sarah as he had spoken. So who am I to you? Am I your brother or am I your husband? Well, apparently now Sarah is going to have a child for Abraham, okay? Verse 2, for Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age at the set time which Aravad had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of the son which was born to him, whom Sarah bore to him, Isaac, okay? And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as Aravad had commanded him, okay? So, am I your brother? Am I your husband? Okay? Well, for this story has a happy ending, but I probably advise you guys to not, I don't know, either it's not take your spouse for granted. I don't really know. I'm not sure what the advice here is, but how are you treating your spouse? Are you treating your spouse as your brother? Are you treating your spouse as your friend? Are you treating your spouse as a placeholder? How are you treating your spouse, okay? So because Sarah both said, that's my sibling, the king was like, well, I'm going to treat her like she's your sibling. I'm not going to treat her like she's your wife. Call it like it is. If it's your wife, claim her as your wife. And if it's your husband, claim him as your husband, but don't do the side story and say, that's my friend over there, that's my baby mom over there. Whatever it is that you're saying, don't, kind of call it as it is. If you want that person in your life to be your wife, to be your husband, whatever the case may be, maybe the stories won't get all confused when we walk in the right way and call it like it is, okay? I don't know if that makes sense to you, but thank you for listening to my video. I really appreciate you watching. Please like, subscribe, share, or comment, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.